Alright, for the next part of my Disney video collection, I'll be showing titles that weren't in any specific brand or line from Walt Disney Home Video. These were just standalone titles that weren't in any lines like the Cartoon Classics or the Walt Disney Classics or the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. These were titles that were just regular standalone Walt Disney Home Video releases, which would usually open with the 1986 Walt Disney Home Video logo or the gold Walt Disney Home Video logo or some form of still logo. These tapes, of course, were from these tapes pretty much followed the Neon Mickey editions and lasted from the late 80s all the way up until the late 90s until everything was changed to Walt Disney Home Entertainment. Alright, here are the dark red FBI warnings that appeared on 1986 and 1987 Disney VHS tapes. Tape hisses a bit. It's pretty old. Notice no fading out and fading in effects. Here comes the video dealer announcement.
If you would like to own a video cassette of this program for your home library, ask your home video dealer about purchasing new or previously viewed tapes.
That only appeared on videos from around the time. I wonder what it's for, though. I wonder why they didn't use it on videos released afterwards. And there's the Presents variation of the Walt Disney Home Video logo. Alright, here's a standard Walt Disney Home Video edition. This is Winnie the Pooh and TIGGER 2. And this was released sometime around late 1986. Top of it there, it's kind of ripped up. This is a beta tape. This was the third Winnie the Pooh theatrical short. Here we got the tape. Let's see that label a little bit better there. And the print date on here is April 24th, 1986. Here's a title in a series that only lasted a year. Walt Disney Video Alongs. Introduced around late 1986 or so. As far as I know, this doesn't have any Sorcerer Mickey logo on it. There you got the top of it there. I think Super Fun for Everyone might have uploaded the opening to one of these Video Alongs tapes. Very interesting nonetheless. Print date is January 17th, 1986. And this is, of course, beta. Here's a late 1986 title right here, Mickey Knows Best on beta. This isn't a Cartoon Classics release, but it contains some Mickey shorts. Only about like 3 or so. So it isn't a Cartoon Classics release. Show you the tape label. Print date May 14th, 1986. Mickey Knows Best. Alright, here's another late 1986 release, CANINE Commando. And it had the tapes like Mickey Knows Best and all that. These contain some short films on it, but they're not necessarily Cartoon Classics editions. These are all Pluto short films made during World War II. All military themed. And I watched them. They're pretty funny. I think the Army mascot was the best one on here. And this is also a Canadian copy. Interesting. You can tell because, it doesn't have the screens on it that show the FBI warning. It just has the warning screens. This tape has the red FBI warnings like the other 1986 Disney video releases in the 1987 one. I forget if it has the video dealer announcement or not, but I'm going to show you the opening to this anyways because it's an interesting variation nonetheless. Alright. These are the dark red FBI warnings as seen on Canadian copies of Disney videos. And this also has the video dealer announcement. It's a little dark, unfortunately. No fade, just goes right to it. No fade effect or anything.
If you would like to own a video cassette of this program for your home library, ask your home video dealer about purchasing new or previously viewed tapes.
This variation of the Sorcerer Mickey Walt Disney Home Video logo with Presents on the bottom was on a lot of 1986 and 1987 editions. Of course, that would be the opening to the CANINE Commando VHS. Of course, it's not a Cartoon Classics edition, so this is the way it opens. There's a late 1986 title right here, Jiminy Cricket's Christmas, on Blu-ray, featuring scenes from various Disney films. This is a beta. Label. And the print date on here is September 30th, 1986. Pretty interesting tape, nonetheless. Alright, here's Disney Sing-Along Song, Zippity Doo-Dah, the first volume in the series. Of course, the reissue, it was volume 2, but it was actually released first. It was late 1986 or so. And this is also a former rental. Let's take a look. This is actually the third release of it. It's not the original. But it's before they used the volume 2 on the title. And Hi Ho was later made volume 1. And the way it's written on the back, you can kind of tell it's the first one, because it's saying here's a tune-filled program for endless hours of singing, for sing-along fun. And it doesn't make mention of the other volumes, so this is most likely the first one. I read that it was released first in December '86, and then Hi Ho came out in March 1987. There were no volume numbers on the series at the time until the reissues sometime around the late 80s, early 90s, when they reordered them with different volume numbers. But this series was a huge hit for Disney, and it lasted really, you know, it really lasted. I think the last Sing-Along Songs edition came out in 2004, I think. It was for the movie Home on the Range. And they reissued the old Sing-Along editions on DVD quite some time ago. There you have it, Sing-Along Song, Zippity Doo-Dah. Alright, here's the second video release of The Journey of Natty Gann. It's the same cover as the Neon Mickey edition, except it doesn't say Walt Disney Home Video along the top. It says Disney's The Journey of Natty Gann. You can tell this was a former rental. The cover artwork is faded. I got this at a local rental store that was closing. Late 2006. There's the top of it. I haven't seen this film. It's supposed to be great, though. And it's never been released in the proper format. The DVD is always in like full screen rather than widescreen. And here's the label, and it opens, you know, with the red FBI warnings and the Sorcerer Mickey Walt Disney Home Video logo. I don't know the exact release date of this tape. I'm gonna have to assume sometime around 1988 or 1989 or so, somewhere around there. Or maybe it came out in the early 90s. Who knows? I'll have to research that, and when I do, I'll post the release date on annotations. This is the 1987 or 1988 VHS of the Three Caballeros. And Walt Disney's is not centered on some later copies. It would be centered. And it's not a classics release. I mean, it's got the diamond profile of Donald, but it's not a classics release. I've never seen the Three Caballeros in its entirety, but I want to. It's supposed to be a very underrated film. It's supposed to be like an unintentional masterpiece of sorts. Here you got the label, your standard Sorcerer Mickey label, and there's no print date. And I had to tape this sticker back on. This was a former rental that I got back in January 2006, sometime around there. I think it's from 1987 because there's a copy of it that opens with the dark red FBI warnings, and this copy opens with the regular red FBI warnings from 1984 and the Sorcerer Mickey Walt Disney Home Video logo, and it also has the Buena Vista logo at the start of the film. Here's Mary Poppins. I have to rewatch Mary Poppins. I don't know when I last saw it. It's supposed to be one of the greatest Disney films of all time. Very personal film to Walt, from what I hear. Can't believe I haven't watched it recently, but I'll get to it soon. I mean, I saw it a long time ago when I was a kid. I'll have to rewatch it. Isn't that crazy? VHS was released in either 1987 or 1988, and it was, updated with new tape masters. This has the Walt Disney Home Video logo at the beginning, but there's no Buena Vista logo. The print date on here is February 25th, 1992. Get it back in there carefully. There's a sing-along songs tape without a label or a case. Under the Sea, released in 1990. I'll post the exact date on annotations. Print date October 30th, 1990. The VHS for Disney sing-along songs Under the Sea had this special introduction. I also heard I also saw an abridged version of that logo. Either that one was the abridged or there's a longer one. I forget exactly which. I'll have to look into that again. I think it's super fun for everyone uploaded both versions. Alright, the VHS of DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. This VHS was released March 15th, 1991. I haven't seen the film, so I can't comment on it. Looks a lot like, basically, judging from the cover, it basically looks like the Disney version of Indiana Jones. Should be an interesting watch nonetheless. This was made by Disney Movie Tunes Studios, which is in France. They were in charge of doing these kinds of films, like a Goofy movie, and also doing the direct-to-video sequels as well, I think. Or maybe that was another studio they were outsourced to. And yeah, coincidentally, this movie came out in 1990. 2 years later, Aladdin came out. And that would involve a magic lamp. It's got the vertical sticker label, much like my later pressing a Jungle Book, and I think some copies of Little Mermaid have it too. The print date on here is February 11th, 1991. And I watched this tape some time ago, and it pretty much had the same previews as the Robin Hood tape, except without the Classics logos. Pretty interesting. I thought some of the previews were a little bit, like the audio was kind of off. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But I noticed that the previews were a little bit, out of sync maybe. Not too sure. But I got this last summer at a tag sale. Alright, here we got Treasure Island in the Walt Disney Studio Film Collection. This was Walt Disney's first all live-action film, because his previous live-action efforts, like Song of the South and The Reluctant Dragon, featured animation. This was the first film done completely in live-action, and it was originally released in 1950. And interesting enough, when this film was theatrically re-released in 1975, it received a PG rating from the MPAA. So Disney recut the film and got a G rating for it. That's the version you will find on the Neon Mickey editions of the film. But for the first time, you know, the uncut version was made available on this. I find it kind of funny that the tape itself has the G rating, while the back of the box has the PG rating. I think there was a similar screw-up on the original VHS of Air Bud. Print date, June 28th, 1992, although this small black text here, if you can read it, says June 20th, 1992. Maybe that's the date the tape itself was manufactured and then it was printed, you know, that couple of days later. There you have it, Treasure Island, Walt Disney Studio Film Collection Edition. There's another Winnie the Pooh VHS. This is for the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I think it's Volume 1 or 2, The Great Honey Pot Robbery. There is no print date on this tape at all. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Alright, here's another The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh episode compilation, All's Well That Ends Well. Not sure when this was released. The print date on here is May 3rd, 1991, though. And it's got an ink label. There's another sing-along songs release, Friend Like Me, Volume 11. And for some reason, this tape begins at the warning screen, not the FBI warning. I guess it's been overplayed. Print date, March 24th, 1993. Features, you know, of course, Friend Like Me from Aladdin and A Whole New World and a couple other songs that somehow have the word friend in the title or are very similar to friendship. Like the Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy sung version of Friendship. An old 30s song, if I'm getting that right. Alright, here's a later version of Zippity Doo Dah, the original volume from the first volume in the sing-along songs. It doesn't say Volume 1, though, it just says Zippity Doo Dah. Print date is April 8th, 1996, but in the 90s, they reordered some of the volumes, and Zippity Doo Dah became Volume 2, and Hi-Ho became Volume 1, when it was the other way around back in the 80s. Pretty interesting nonetheless. They constantly reissue the sing-along songs titles and update the packaging.